Hi, folks. So, something I realised today, speaking to God about the way church is, and even the one I go to about how that one is, and a truth came. The truth being that church is designed, and every church is pretty much designed to be pretty much non-offensive to as many people as possible. And the reality is, the only people that are going to be offended with church and the way it is are those who are actually of God. Because when you water down truth, most people don't even notice you're watering down truth. Someone who is of God will notice and be offended by the fact that you're watering down truth. Well, for example, how many people spoke to the lady at the Vineyard Church who was speaking about washing feet? In John, where Yeshua was washing the feet of the disciples. How many people spoke to her about the fact that she didn't wash feet? I think only one. I think only one person was offended by the fact that she spent all that time talking about Peter and Judas, and then what it said in Philippians, but going into also more detail about what it meant for Yeshua to do that he lowered himself to the level of the lowest servant, and making quite a big deal about that as well, rather than thinking about washing the feet of the people. She said she didn't have time. She only had 20 minutes. The reality is, after church, they have time, always have time, for praying for people. So when they have time for praying for people, she could then, during that time, have washed feet. But there was no desire whatsoever to do so. Now, most people wouldn't be offended by that. Someone of God will be. Because someone of God notices that's such an easy thing to walk out. Such an easy thing to actually do. And to show an example of, humbling yourself to that degree. You're talking about it, well, then do it. But no, there was zero desire to do it. Absolute zero desire. And that is just, as I say, to most people, that's not offensive at all. Just like at the filling station, when the American was talking about the story that his daughter was telling from, when they went to New Zealand, and the daughter used a swear word, instead of ignoring the swear word and just skipping it, he mentioned, the word she used I can't use because it was a swear word. Yeah. To someone of God, that's going to be offensive. Him doing that. Because he's making himself out to be a good little Christian. And he's intentionally not saying that swear word, whilst highlighting how naughty his daughter is by using that swear word, which he won't use. So how he's so much better than his daughter. But also, why mention the story? That swear word was pretty much, from his daughter's point of view, was fundamental to the story. That's why she used it. It was a word that she seemed to find was perfect and the best word to use in that situation. So again, why do you think, as a person who's brought to speak, generally speaking to adults, that a swear word is something that you can't mention, even though it's relevant to the story? Yeah. Treating people like babies. Bringing a message that is intentionally, by the way, safe space and comfortable. That, generally speaking, is designed not to offend anyone, well, most of the people in that room. Right? To get a pat on the back from most people. That's only going to offend those who are of God. Because they can see where the message is coming from. And it's not God. Yeah, it's not God. And you get this all the time. From speakers on the internet, same thing. From Chris Blackerby, same thing. He's very careful. He will never speak about the cutoff. He will never speak about seed that doesn't fall on good ground and what the result is of that. Oh, of course not. He won't mention any of that. He'll act as if everyone who goes to church is of good ground, which is impossible. But he'll do that because, again, he's wanting as many people as possible to like what he's doing. Right? Same as for King and Country. Is it for King and Country? I think it's called. That the group? Let me find out. Keep getting these things wrong. Yeah, for King and Country. There you go. Yeah, for them. Yeah, in their things. Watering it down. Yeah, making out it's the kingdom come of the Son of God, even though it's of the Father. Again, because they know if they're saying it's of the Father, some people in church won't like it because it's not what they get in church. So yeah, they won't like that. And you can't produce something that people won't like because then they won't like it. But it's all the same. It's all that situation of producing something which, generally speaking, will be accepted and liked because it's safe and it's comfortable. And people like safe and comfortable. If it makes you look good saying it, then all the better. And the only people that will be offended are those of God. But those of God are few and far between, to say the least. Few and far between. As I've said before, how many have I met? Well, unless I'm looking in the mirror, none. None. Not that I could honestly say of God. I've seen 2 examples where I've seen the spirit of someone rise and be connected to God. Only twice have I seen that. And that's out of hundreds of people. Only twice have I seen that. Right, in the last few years. Twice. Before then, yeah, probably a few times before then as well. In the 20-odd years, a few times I would have seen that. There's a bloke called Daniel Holbeck who very good at playing football. And I've said before, I was going to do a game between Christchurch Family Church and the Bournemouth YMCA. And I was going to be managing the Christchurch team on this occasion. But I said to Daniel, but if you want to play for the church team, you're going to have to go to church. And because he really wanted to play, he went to church, and then he became, one of the top evangelists in, I don't know even where he is now, but he was operating in Europe. And he's now someone of God and someone who does great work for God. And it started with a football game and me understanding that it's important to get him and just to tell him that he has to go to church. That was God-led because, normally I wouldn't have cared. If he's a good football player, he's playing for my team. But on that occasion, no. So he was someone who, for some reason, I saw that he was important. But that was God showing that it wasn't really me. So there you go. I wish you well. You take care. God bless. I'll speak to you soon. Be blessed, be a blessing, and sort out your relationship with God. Be of God, not of this world.